Welcome back. Welcome in. It's Country Roads Confidential at earsports.com. It's a Paramount podcast. I'm Mike Casazza here in Morgantown, Thursday morning. Time to preview another game in the 2025 season. Joining me, Chris Anderson, to get us ready for the Mountaineers visiting ranked Houston. Noon game in Texas on FS1. West Virginia, Chris, hasn't lost six in a row since 1986. How about that?
A lot of records being set this year. True
Yes.
freshman passing record,
Yeah.
most losses in a row record. It's impressive.
Um, how good is Houston?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We get accused of doing these guys are world beaters and these guys aren't that good thing, but we'll get into it. I mean, you look at some of it, and I don't want to say they're fraudulent. I do not believe that. I think they are a fine team. I think they're a decent team, but they have one good win
Which one's that?
at Arizona State,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like that last week. I mean, they're like Stephen F. Austin, Rice, Colorado, Oregon State, Oklahoma State. Those were the first five wins for them. Those
Hmm.
teams are all terrible.
Hmm.
Texas Tech, the one very good team they faced, beat the ever living snot out of them. Like 35-11 doesn't even do it justice. Um, Squeaking out a win over Arizona. Okay. I mean, it's I mean, again, I don't know about glass houses and all that stuff. We are covering a team that's, as we just noted, about lost six in a row. So, um, I don't know, or has it is about to might lose six in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not preempting. I'm not predicting the future here. I'm not making a pick on the game right now. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to drag Houston down because I am fully aware of the team that I am covering right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was a feeling that I also had as I was going through and prepping myself for this podcast and I did have a thought of, wait, is Houston good? Are we sure? And man, they got a gift of a schedule this year
Oh,
too.
boy.
Because look at the rest. I mean, like at UCF, like again, none of these are easy, but they seem to have avoided a lot of the toughest teams in the conference right now.
Hmm. The opponents that you listed, and let's
Hmm.
just go through the schedule fast. Stephen F. Austin, Rice, road game Rice, Colorado, Oregon State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Arizona State. Let me just go through this really quickly. Stephen F. Austin, FCS team. Rice, not very good, although it's a road game. Colorado, that was the Deion Sanders we're starting Staub game. They lost on a field goal, or they won on a field goal in overtime at Oregon State, which promptly fired its coach. Lost their quarterback early, never really in it against Texas Tech. Won in Oklahoma State, beat Arizona on a field goal, beat Arizona State without maybe the best player in the Big 12. The quarterback didn't play the final two drives, didn't look himself. Of those teams that I mentioned, let's remove Texas Tech. The best offense, according to Pro Football Focus, and again, take it for what you want, but this is just my measuring stick, is Arizona at 45. Do you want to guess who's second and what the rank is?
Oh God, let's see out of those teams. Is it God, is it Colorado? Arizona State?
Yes, at 95.
Yeah.
They've played two top 100 offenses. Not surprisingly, their offense is 20. Their defense is 24 in the Pro Football Focus. I've spoken to some people who have scouted them and played them. They're a handful. They don't beat themselves, and if you make a mistake, they're going to pounce on you and smother you and do that. But they're also going to be very opportune, and you can look at their numbers too. Some of their metrics we'll get to, which is to say, this might not line up as a imminently losable game for West Virginia because they're not as good as some of the teams that Houston has beaten, but they're not so far away either. And Houston doesn't do things impressively and easily. However, it might line up as a team that West Virginia just doesn't have a shot against or something further away from competitive just because of the amount of mistakes it makes on offense and defense and maybe not special teams unless the punt's going 19 yards, but still no part of their game is clear of mistakes, and Houston's a team that doesn't make many and just pounces on you when you do.
Yeah, and yeah, I was going through like the defense thing stuck out to me because like, oh wow, they have a top 25 defense, and then that's I think that's where my train of thought started and went down the wait, are they that good
Hmm.
kind of thing, and yeah, then facing you look at that Texas Tech game, and again, West Virginia is not Texas Tech; they're not even close to that right now, but that was a beatdown in every sense of the word. We'll cover some of that and how it might translate and where West Virginia might be able to take advantage, but. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I was about to say maybe we'll see, but West Virginia so far, not exactly a measuring stick for other teams either. So I don't know when you'd find the truth about Houston. Maybe the TCU game in 3 weeks. I don't know.
They
We'll
might be
see.
locked up in the Big 12 championship game by then, too.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. They're overall number 50 according to Pro Football Focus, 85th on offense, 24th on defense. You can kind of see where they go. And they have some pieces on offense, the quarterback, the receivers, their tight end for sure. Just they do not put the pedal to the metal and go. They are really quiet. And again, just one person I talked to said that the game goes by fast. You're looking at you kick off and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the second quarter. Oh my gosh, there's 90 seconds left in the half. Holy cow, we're starting the fourth quarter. It just goes by very quickly. They possess the ball, and I think a lot of people just because of recency and the what the win meant, they beat Arizona State, and it's a thumbprint game for Houston. Up 24 nothing, and just said we don't need to score 38, 41 to win. We can win with 24. We can win with 27, and just played smart football the rest of the way and relied on the defense, and that was more than enough. I mean, they ended up winning that game with pretty good control. It's a one score game. It's a touchdown and 2 point conversion, but found their way to a win just because they have their style and it worked. It got them the lead and it got them out of town with a win.
What'd you say their offense was? 85th in the country, 84th?
Yeah, in PFF, yes.
Which again, we're talking about scales here when it's like, oh man, the defense looks good, but they haven't played anybody on offense. Their offense looks bad, and they haven't played anybody that's good on defense. Like, I mean, like
Yeah.
Texas Tech is obviously very good. I think Arizona's fine, but then you look at some of these like they got an FCS team. Oregon State ranks 111th in FBS in total defense. Colorado 121st, Oklahoma State 130th. Like, you should not have an 84th ranked offense if you are facing some of the worst defenses week in and week out. So,
Mhm.
huh.
7-1, most wins since joining the Big 12, ranked for the first time while a member of the Big 12. They were last ranked in 2022. 23 was their first year in the Big 12. This is their third season, so they've kind of found some success here, and just it's Fritz doing what he does. He turns things around, famously second, third year, typically sooner than later, so most often the second year, but done it his way. And I guess we can start. If we're gonna start with Fritz, we probably should start with offense, correct?
Sure.
Big change. He fires his offensive coordinator last year. And in the offseason, he goes and he hires his offensive coordinator, who was at LSU as a tight end coach, but that was his guy when he was at Tulane. That was his offensive coordinator. He took a swing at the SEC. He's a tight end coach. He's working on the offense, I think maybe pass game coordinator. Fritz hires him back, and they land a major transfer in Connor Wegman, whose dad played for Fritz. That doesn't hurt at Sam Houston State. And a really talented guy, like one of your top recruits a couple of years ago. He starts at Texas A&M, been healthy, saved the Texas Tech game this year, and he's just the difference. Not prolific, but really steady, doesn't make mistakes. He can run the ball and just does what you're supposed to do to play quarterback in that offense.
Yeah. I was looking through things. I was trying to figure out how do you really attack him again? Pretty solid for the most part. Doesn't turn it over a ton, but you're going to be talking about pressure here. That is the way to get to him. That's when he falls apart. He's got a 74.5 PFF grade when he's clean, 49.3 under pressure. And you go through and look at the games, and I repeat this, not that it bears repeating, but West Virginia is not Texas Tech, especially on the defensive front, although that is one of West Virginia's stronger suits. But in that game, that loss to Texas Tech, Houston, in their other four Big 12 games, the other four Big 12 contests that they've played, all wins. They have allowed a total of 25 pressures on the quarterback in 4 games. That's amazing. Against Texas Tech, 22 in the one game alone, almost totaled up all the other 4 games combined. And not surprisingly, that's when Wegman fell apart. That's when that offense fell apart. That's when the team fell apart. Like it just looked abysmal. Of course, he got hurt. His backup came in. Excuse me. But between the two of them, they dropped back to pass 30 times and they were pressured on 73% of their dropbacks. Like 3 out of 4 times. If you drop back 4 times, you were getting pressured 3 times as a quarterback. There's nobody will be able to succeed in that. We're seeing it in Morgantown. When you do not have an offensive line that can block, everyone looks terrible. And in that game especially, they looked completely under siege, looked completely terrible. It's really the one time that, again, have they lit it up offensively? No, not at all. But that was the one game you're like, wow, they looked completely overmatched.
Did you see the PFF grade? I don't want to be too PFF-y here, but did you see
The
the PFF grade?
1.1 is
Oh my
almost
God.
almost a blue Tarski. That's what I was thinking was the 0.0.
Yeah. Some stuff on. We should mention the quarterback's name, Connor Wegman. Red zone web, 8 rushing touchdowns in the red zone this year. That's what he does. He's also thrown 7 touchdown passes too. He's good there, but they run the offense through him too. This is a zone run offense, a lot of inside zone, outside zone. That's what Fritz does, except when it comes to quarterback power. And just he has 3 targets basically. The tight end he looks for. He's got outside receivers. He kind of does what he does there. Left tackle's a concern, Chris. Like they have 7 different starters in the offensive line this year. They flop their right guard and left guard to try to find the right mix. They seem that we can get into the yeah, they seem to favor their left side. However, their left tackle, Alvin Ebosele, 15 pressures, allowed 3 sacks, 4 penalties. He is the 19th lowest PFF grade in the country for qualified offensive tackles and was conspicuous in some of their bad moments too. And if you're thinking about where West Virginia's going to get pressure, are they going to be more aggressive here? Yeah, you're right. The pressure numbers for him against Wegman not great. I think you got to force him to do something because if you let them play their speed and just kind of go 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, you're going to be on the field for a long time. Then it becomes harder to have the pressure and more. You're probably down in the game too. You're not getting off the field. Is it as easy as going around the left end here, or do they have to actually, cover receivers and stop the run too?
Yeah, the Ebiseli thing, I'm glad you brought him up, is somebody that's, we've talked in years past of the big glowing sign over their head saying attack here, and that's the guy for this game. Most pressures allowed by an offensive lineman in the Big 12 conference, tied for fifth most allowed in the entire Power Four. Um, but maybe he's not alone. You noted, what did you say, 7 different starters along the
Hmm.
offensive line? Yeah, they seem to be trying to figure anything out at left guard because Jason Brooks started there and he was pretty weak. I believe he got benched. I mean, he started and then he didn't start. So yes, he got benched, but he played, so he's not completely out of it. He wasn't hurt, but they're trying to figure something out there, and it's like that's a problem where you can't have both pieces on one side be terrible. Like you can try to piecemeal something where maybe if your left tackle's struggling, you make sure that your left guard is stronger than your right guard and kind of balance it out a little bit. But left guard's been very weak with Jason Brooks. Last game, they tried to move Matthew Wyckoff over. He's been starting at right guard. Then he got, I guess, benched. He was as a backup for a couple games, and now he's starting at left guard this most recent game. So they seem to be trying to figure something out or are not pleased with what's happening on the offensive line. So maybe there are a few different places they can attack to answer your question along that offensive line, not just Ebiselli.
Which is probably good news for West Virginia because if they can make a play on defense, that's a big deal. The running game, listen, Fritz is a running guru. I think a lot of people would say that. His offensive line coach celebrated his tight ends coach. Excuse me, his tight ends coach. His offensive coordinator was the tight ends coach at LSU. Look on my notes. Sorry, that's kind of what they've done historically for years. They lost a pretty big part. Sanford was supposed to be their starting running back this year. He gets hurt in the first week of the season. They kind of, I don't say luck out, but Dean Connors, the transfer from Rice, has been like their guy. He gets about 65% of the carries. Still have Stacy Sears, who was a running back 2 years ago for them. So he's been around for a while, second years with Fritz. But man, nothing is easy on the ground with them. It's a lot of zone stuff. They go to quarterback power, but everything is pretty pedestrian here. And here's like a comp number for you. They have 36 runs of 10 yards or more. 15 of them are for 10 to 14 yards. So again, they don't pop a lot of big ones here. 22% of their runs are 15 or more yards. Chris, you've seen West Virginia run the ball, right?
I have.
31% of their yards or runs are 15 or more yards. So Houston is 9% less punchy than West Virginia is on the ground. They will run the ball though. They will do it. And again, 4 plus 4 plus 4 is first down. They don't seem to mind to do that. Um, but boy, they have a tell. They love to run to the left. It's striking what they do, and we're talking about how the left tackle isn't good. Must be a good run blocker. And left guard, are they trying to figure something out? Maybe they have, or maybe just the running back is much more at ease doing that. But they love to run to the left.
Yeah, I feel like you and I do not compare notes when we do this beforehand,
Mhm.
but we seem to be finding the same patterns here because I'm with you completely on the Connors thing going left. I wrote down on my notes, you just said 4 plus 4 plus 4 is first down or
Mhm.
something similar to that. And I wrote 4 yards in a cloud of dust question mark instead of the old 3 yard because you go and look, I think he's top five in the Big 12 in total rushing yards. So they run him. But you look at the other 5 or 6 guys, I think it's 6 guys, he's fifth. And you look at the top six in rushing yards, you look at those 15 plus yard runs, breakaway runs, as they call it. It's like 12 of them, 10 of them, 11 of them, 10 of them, 10 of them. And then you get to Connors, four.
Mhm.
Like it just, it is literally just 4 yard. It is a grind. And this, I mean, it all fits. This all goes together with everything they were saying. We're saying their offense is pedestrian, their running is pedestrian, and the games go by quickly because they just run for 4 yards and then they run for 4 yards again. Like it's not quick hitting, high flying offenses that leads to a lot of back and forth. It just eats up clock, eats up time, eats up yards. It's been enough to get things done for them.
36 runs, 10 yards or more, 22 are left of center. And that's just between the left guard in the center and then outside the tight end. So we're not talking scrambles or reverses or anything like that. Traditional standard runs. 22 to 9 left of center. They've run 147 times left of center for 57% of their yards. They've run 12 fewer times to the right for 22% fewer yards. So it's just not a personnel thing. It's maybe a preference thing. Maybe it is a personnel thing. And then more importantly, just like you like to go over yards before contact on the right, 0.7. Yards before contact on the left, 2.7.
That's
So they
pretty
get
good.
holes. They get holes on that left side. That's kind of what they want to do. And it's pretty much a two-man gang. They'll throw Sears in every so often, but it's Connors, it's Wegman, and kind of controlled passing. And maybe we transition to this. They have one of the better weapons in the Big 12. And Chris, are we sleeping on Mac tight ends? You got Harold Finn in the NFL. You have this guy here, Tanner Koziel. West Virginia has a tight end from the Mac. What's going on in the Mac and tight ends?
I have no idea. But yeah, this is a weapon. You look at targets, he leads the team in targets by a pretty good margin. I think 59 to 45 over one of the top wide receivers. And then like the third is like in the 20s or something like that. So he is a guy that they love to throw to. And it's not just that they love to throw him, because when you look at the numbers, one out of every four dropbacks he's still blocking. So he's
Mhm.
not even running around every single time. So when he does run around, they are throwing to him a very high percentage of the time. And he makes catches. I think he's a comfort guy. Wigman likes to throw in the middle. You go look at his numbers. Almost half of his passes are between the numbers and shorter than 10 yards or behind the line of scrimmage. So tight and in the box, essentially. He loves to throw the football. And who does he love to throw it to? Tanner Koziel, who has 19 throws his way where he is in traffic and has 15 catches. So these catches in traffic are not necessarily 50-50 balls, but they're kind of close. Like if you go and look at a lot of the numbers and what guys do or don't do in those situations, it kind of evens out to about 50-50. And he's 15 out of 19. He is above 75%. He's almost at 80% when they throw it to him in those situations. So he is a talented guy with good hands that is a comfortable blanket for Wegman to throw to.
Leads the country in contested catches. 15, and
Uh,
first in tight ends for contested
is
targets.
this the Bryce Ford Wheaton question? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because you're making the catches, but that also means you can't get open.
Yeah,
And
well, it's hard to get open when you're 6'7", 250 in the middle
yeah,
of the field too. Like you're going to be easy to cover. And again, 41 targets, 10 or fewer yards down the field. It's a huge number.
yeah.
And 31, 33 completions too, so they know where to go. Average depth of target, 7.2 yards. So he's going to his spot and turning around. There's a great pick I can find it. Maybe I'll share it. Arizona State, and it's like a 3rd and 4 play, and he's got a guy in front of him, and Wagon just says screw it, and he throws it 7 feet in the air where the linebacker can't get it, and Koziel goes up, grabs it because he can do that. He's 6'7". He's going to do that. He moves around. He's on the line about 35% of the time. He's in the slot 53% of the time. He goes out wide about 10% of the time. I round it up. Those don't add up, but they move him around a lot. But you better find him because they will move him around. They'll do some things with him, and they're just going to throw him the ball too. And put a lot of attention on him. They have two guys who can hurt you. Stephon Johnson caught the Hail Mary 2 years ago, and Amari Thomas. I don't know, Chris. Statistically, the best deep ball catcher in college football. That's a nice weapon to have.
Is that true?
They have a stat. He has on deep. This is from their notes. On deep balls, he has a 99.9 Pro Football Focus rating, 6 targets, 6 catches on throws of 20 yards or more. That's not me. That's from Houston. So
Wow, wow, it's impressive.
maybe he's not the best, but still pretty effective. And again, they don't do it. They don't dial it up very often. Both those guys are outside guys. Only 6 deep balls, 9 completions on 12 attempts. Pretty good, but 6 belong to one, 3 belong to the other. Stephon Johnson averaged up the target though, 15.5 yards. So when he goes, he goes. They don't trigger it very often.
Um, Man, that's wild. See, I always love the game notes that come out from all schools. Of course, they're always trying to make their players and their team sound very positive,
Mhm.
but the best deep threat in the country. All right. Yeah,
Just the messenger.
yeah. I I'm down with it. I like it.
Are you, are you surprised about their play action? They only do play action 20% of the time.
Was it is it supposed to be like a big Willie Fritz thing?
Just as frequently as they run the ball
Yeah.
and the way their offense has leaned this year, even if it's not that, I would think that, boy, that'd be a great thing to do. And their quarterback's a veteran who does have good play fakes too. So I just thought it'd be a larger number than that. But they're pretty much straight up about 70% of the time on stuff too. And maybe that's easier pass blocking for them. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, hmm. I don't know. Let's set a number here because we're talking. I'm thinking on this because I was just hear other stats about one stat that somebody I think threw out a couple weeks ago was the Justin Fields stat, which finally got broken this past week. Sorry to go to NFL for some of you, but it was like he was 0-36, whatever the number was, something tremendous in games where the opposing team scored 24 points. Like he is an offense that he led as quarterback had literally never beat a team that scored 24 points because he couldn't get his team 24 points. That was broken this past week. What's the number? What's because again, we both seem to think that Houston's offense is pretty pedestrian. I think we've seen that West Virginia offense would like to be referred to as pedestrian at
Mhm.
this point. What's a number that one of these teams has to get to win?
West Virginia better find 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, you think,
Yeah,
at least?
they're 9-0 under Fritz and they get 21 points, which is pretty incredible because it's not a very great offensive team the last 2 years. But in 2 years, 9-0 with 21 points, and a lot of it's this year. I get that. In their wins this year, I mean, they've given up some points, but it's not crazy. Let's see. In their wins, they've given up 24, 25, and 28, but also 16, 17, 29, 0. So you're gonna have to get points on them. They lost with 35. So they will win with 24. They'll win with 31. They'll win with 27. That's just kind of the way they're engineered. If they don't get 3 touchdowns, they're going to have a hard time winning this game, which is probably true in every college football game now. But West Virginia, as we know, can struggle. They're not even averaging 21 points a game, so that would be difficult there. But that struck me as an odd stat to be 9-0 in 2 years with just 21 points. You can lose 38-35 in the Big 12 or in college football very easily. Doesn't happen with these guys.
I mean, I wasn't even trying to set you up for that 21 point stat. I didn't even realize that was a thing. There we
No,
go.
from their notes too.
Yeah.
So not just me here. And then
Yeah.
and again, if they're up at the half, game control 7-0 under Fritz, and they lead at half.
Hmm.
They only have 11 wins under him, so 7 of them they led at the half, and they've just found their lane. They stayed in it.
Okay. Well. Shall we switch sides?
This is a little bit different. Good defense. I have a hard time explaining it though.
Yeah, God, this is terrible that we're this. I mean, it's not terrible because maybe it should be this obvious with somebody like that. But I was going through some of the personnel stuff, and you look at it, and you're like, wait, they don't really rush the passer that well. And like even like you look at somebody like Eddie Walls, who leads the team in sacks, he doesn't have a lot of pressures. Like he only
Hmm.
has, I think it was 11 pressures, which is not great. But he has 5.5 sacks, which is great.
Mhm.
So when he's getting there, he's finishing, which is always positive. But they're just not pressuring the quarterback a lot. And then even it just seems like every person that I was looking at, again, individually personnel wise for this team, I'd be like, oh, look, this guy does this well, and then oh God, this is terrible, and just back and forth, something different with each one. But I never seem to kind of land on a guy that I was like, this guy is solid across the board, or terrible across the board, whichever way you want to go. So, that's my long way of saying I agree with you here.
Yeah, it's a middle of the pack defense when it comes to the pass. A little better against the run, which is just kind of what happens. You're winning the game. They are. They have some interesting players. Like their defensive lineman, Carlos Allen, probably one of your better defensive linemen in the Big 12. He's like an athlete in the middle there. He runs around, he makes plays, he gets behind the line. A lot of run stops, a lot of pressures, just disruptive. They have two other guys that, like, when I watch play, they're kind of fun to watch. Jalen Gardner
Yeah,
is their linebacker, senior from Georgia, just a veteran player. So here's some things here: sixth in the country in pressure. Um, he's 84th in pass rushing. Like, how does this happen?
yeah,
Like, so it's not very effective. He's the top in tackles with more assists than solo tackles. That's exactly what you want out of a middle linebacker, right? And he plays the will for them. He's missed 11 tackles, tops in the team. He's also forced two fumbles. And then what I cannot get over, teams have found him.
say it.
20,
Pass defense.
20 catches and 23 targets, 14 and a half yards per attempt, four touchdowns, worst linebacker numbers in the country when it comes to yards per catch and touchdowns. One of the highest yards per catch, I'm sorry. But then the percentage is pretty high too. And I understand, like, sometimes you're going to get dinged when it comes to scouting numbers. Like a mesh, for example, is going to cross in front of you. You're the mic, you're watching. That's a catch on you. It's not all that. And just for a guy who is disruptive, who pressures a lot but doesn't close the deal, who plays the pretty well but misses tackles, who has a lot of stops, who's forced two fumbles, who's sacked the quarterback twice. It seems to me like they're a guy who just like, hey, you're a wrecking ball. Go do something, and we'll take the bad with the good and trust there's going to be more good than bad. And then their nickelback, who's I just wrote down Rook. I forgot his last name. He's from Wyoming.
Yeah,
Um,
Brown, Rook Brown.
yeah, fun player. Like exactly what you want out of that position. A hybrid, neither linebacker, corner, nor safety, but right in between. Does what you want him to do. 32 tackles, but five tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 17 stops. Chris, zero missed tackles. And that guy's in the line of fire all the time. He's playing the run, he's playing those short passes, he's playing the tight end. Zero missed tackles. And I mentioned that because 16 catches and 18 targets,
Yeah.
but just 5.8 yards per catch. If it happens in front of him, he typically ends it.
I feel like I just need to screenshot my notes and just send them over so people don't think I'm making
Yeah.
this up because it's
Okay.
right there. Rook Brown, 16 of 18 in pass coverage, but for only 92 yards. He does not miss tackles. Literally what my notes say right now. So I don't know what
Yeah.
else to add to that, but yeah, that's where I'm leaning at. Do you think Jalen Garner's gonna tweet, "How about that cover two" after this game? Is that gonna happen
I
or
hope
no?
not. Maybe. uh, what uh, is Texas Tech just that good? Like they put the numbers up against everybody.
Yeah,
And that again, without Wegman and having to put their backup in, it's a different game. Maybe more quarterback run, not as great passer. You don't have the veteran in there. That's the only team that's really looked great against them. The backup comes in against Arizona for Arizona State last week and goes down in the field and scores, but he threw his first touchdown in 2 years, so I don't think that's a thing where the personnel made the difference there. I just think they have a good plan and a good coordinator, and they rolled the dice and pulled the coordinator from Florida. Maybe they knew what was going on in LSU in Florida, so credit to Willie Fritz for plucking coaches from situations that were going to be on fire before too long. The moves have worked, but on defense especially, like the offense, you probably assume that Fritz was going to get it right and that reuniting with his offensive coordinator would do it. Defensively, who knows? But that's how you're going to win in the Big 12 on defense. And roll the dice and got the right coordinator, and it's made a difference.
Yeah. And again, they've been pretty solid at edge, but how much do you take from this? Because what'd you say? Like it's Texas Tech and that's it.
Hmm.
Like as far as like legitimate offenses that they faced all season long. So um yeah, I mean yeah, this is where I keep going. We've talked about three of the main guys that I put in my notes of just, hey, they do this really well, but then they're kind of terrible here. But then this guy next to him, and maybe this is part of it, is that some of these pieces, so many of these pieces are complementary of each other, where one guy's weakness is the other guy's a strength. And it all just kind of makes the defense fine. And they look that like, every piece is flawed, but you piece them together correctly and the defense is fine. But then your fine defense plays bad offenses and your defense looks great.
Hmm.
And again, I'm not trying to denigrate Houston's defense or the coordinators or stuff, but that's what it seems like to me. And if West Virginia were to be a good offense, this like if this were a West Virginia team that had a good offense, I'd be circling this game right now saying, hey man, this is one of those games where I think, the Vegas line might say this, and West Virginia's going to score twice that because I just don't know how good it's going to be.
One more, one more player to talk about here.
Sure.
Their jack position, which I'm assuming is Brandon Mack. Chris, seventh year junior, 20 tackles, 5 sacks.
It's awesome. I mean,
And he plays a lot too. So that's another guy that I look at. I'm like, oh, that guy's pretty good. And him and Walls, who's the field end, so like your defensive end, your pass rusher, for a terror last week against Arizona State. Like they made life miserable on Levitt, and I'm not sure they knocked him out of the game or anything like that, but I think they've got him on the ground 4 or 5 times together, at least four. I think Walls had 3 sacks in that game. Um, they have pieces there and they know what to do. They're well coached, and again, they keep things in front of them, but they haven't played great offenses either. So can West Virginia be that challenge? What is it going to take? Is this a game where Gallagher, maybe Andrew Bowie's going to have to do stuff in the slot? Do you take your chances deep? Their corners haven't been great. We haven't even talked about them, but like they haven't been great. They're kind of younger players. I think they're new starters. Maybe one's a transfer from Wyoming. The fact that I don't know means I just haven't taken a look down there. I know I glanced at it earlier, but I never saw something there that was so glaring and said, "Oh." And perhaps that's more because I don't know who the answer is on the outside for West Virginia. Possibly, possibly Cam Vaughn. That seems to be happening. Fox, though, looks like he is more comfortable in that they will ask him to do more. So I guess my question then would be, can you just take the West Virginia from the first 8 games, or maybe even just the past two, and project it onto what we're going to see on the field? Or do you think this is still in some sort of evolution state where the quarterback's getting more comfortable? The offensive line may be the same again for back-to-back games with newer and better players, and they're trying to unlock Cam Vaughn. And I'm not saying it's the recipe for a win, but maybe it's a deviation from what we'd expect.
before I answer your question, I want to say that if Andrew Bowie is suiting up
Oh,
for West Virginia, they might have a chance. Who knows? We get a
yeah.
little big time Orange Bowl Andrew Bowie performance. We'll see. But
Mhm. Of
um,
course, I meant Sam Bowie. My bad.
you're gonna confuse so many listeners.
Yeah.
Um, But I think everything's evolutionary. First off, let's put tamp down some of the like expectations from some of the fans that might be thinking,
Mm.
"Hey, Scotty Fox is going to roll over how he finished last game into this game." That is not necessarily going to happen. It's one of those conversations where you have about progress and moving upwards. It's not just a straight line going from where you started to where you end. You're going to go up, you're going to go down. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to roll right over because I think he is still learning the game. Things are still going to be slowing down for him. Um, but I think it is. Would you say it's still evolving
Hmm.
this offense? Because honestly, they're making a little more tweaks at receiver. You're starting to see some other guys get a shot. Not, I mean, it's still like a couple of the top guys being top guys still, but rolling in other guys after that. Jacob Barrick, I think, was like out wide at one point as a tight end. Um, Ryan Ward's been getting more snaps at tight end lately. He was targeted a couple times. They're still trying to figure out running back. I mean, I don't know if there's an answer right now, and they're even making changes on the offensive line. And then one of the changes they made now is hurt. So they may be making a change back or making another change forward. So I think, again, to answer your question, I think it's still evolving because I think there's still going to be moving pieces heading into this game. Again, you see some glimpses of what could be, but there's still going to be some tweaks and changes that are going to happen.
It's their first noon kick, right?
Yeah, because they had like a 1 o'clock, right? So that didn't count. So, but actual noon kick, yeah.
Where was the 1 o'clock? I didn't even remember that
No,
one.
wasn't there a 1 o'clock?
UCF. You're right, UCF.
Yeah, UCF.
And this is 11 o'clock technically.
Yeah, for Houston.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
expect a very big crowd for that. Sports City,
no, because Robert Morris was evening, Ohio was midday, Pitt was
3:30,
midday, Kansas was
4 p.m.
4 p.m., Utah was evening, BYU was night,
Yeah.
UCF was 1 o'clock, TCU was night. Yeah. So yeah, first
Ooh,
noon.
let me start a winning streak there. All right, Chris. Covered everything. We have all the answers here, but let's ask one more question. Well, unless you have something.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready. Do you want to go first this time on what
No,
we're going
because
to
I
talk
stole
about?
everything. I feel like I got my comeuppance during this episode by
Yeah, that
taking
was
up.
terrible. I cannot believe that, especially with the defensive stuff. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, this podcast would be 7 minutes longer if I hadn't cut you off like that. So I'll let you take this one first here. Chris, when the game is over, we're talking I'm having a prediction here. We will wait till this game is over.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
I agree.
Who? What are we talking about? And will you be so bold as to predict the upset?
I will not be so bold as to pick the upset, but I will say that if there is an upset, we will be discussing West Virginia's pass rush. Again, I talked about how that's going to be such a big thing. Mike, you had already written about how they hadn't gone or hadn't gotten a sack in the entirety of Big 12 play, and they came out and proved you wrong
Yeah.
by getting one in the first quarter and then never again in the game against TCU last week. So I think there's going to be a few more answers for West Virginia. I think this is going to be the weakest offensive line that West Virginia has faced so far this season, not excluding FCS here. So I think there's going to be ample opportunities for West Virginia to try to get to the quarterback. Um, I don't know if Jamori Robinson's going to be a part of that because, again, I think I'm going to loop that in as we're going to be discussing that one way or the other because either he's going to be involved and we'll say, okay, that was weird, 1 week out, or he's not going to be involved and there's going to be some discussion about, man, that was some of the worst NIL spending ever. Um, but I'm in on West Virginia's defense wreaking havoc on the quarterback. I think that is part of the reason this game is going to be close, and it might be the reason West Virginia can pull off an upset.
Yeah, that's a good call. And for all the reasons we laid out, and again, they're going to have to make a play on their defense here too. Chris, we spent a lot of time talking about the first quarter of futility for West Virginia. 6 straight games without a point in the first quarter. That is obviously the longest
Well,
active
you know what,
streak.
Mike? It sucks if you don't get in the second quarter either, all right, pal?
Yeah.
Maybe go
So
the third quarter.
my point right there, Coach Chris, is that this really bugs them. It
Yes.
really does, because what are you doing during the week if not trying to get off to a good start? And this team is just not engineered to play from behind by 10 or 14 or fewer more points. So that's got to be something that's under their skin right now. I think they're going to get something here in the first quarter. But Chris, that's the trap. You can score on on Houston in the first quarter here. Wow, terrible. You can score on Houston in the first quarter here. Their splits in the first quarter, 47 to 43, just +4. Okay, middle quarters. That's where it gets tricky, and that's where West Virginia could be in real trouble. Houston's scoring margin in the middle two quarters is +83. They've
Mm.
given up 43 points in the first quarter. They've given up 43 points in the third and fourth quarter combined, including just 6 in the third quarter. If West Virginia is not in this game after the first quarter, it is going to be more of the same because the time of possession will take over. 31 minutes and 4 seconds on average for Houston. Been better when they've been pulling away and winning games. You're not going to come back against this team unless you're within striking distance. But if this is 14, 17, 21 points at the half in the third quarter, 7 straight losses, Chris.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see. First 15, important. But
Yeah.
if they don't do something in the first 15, likely they're going to give up points. Just what they've done. And they're going to be in that rearview mirror, probably smaller than they want to be.
And then that will be the end of bowl eligibility. Maybe.
Oh, well,
APR still alive, baby.
who knows anymore? Anything else here?
Nah, that's it.
We
That's
had Steve Saban availability on Wednesday.
and
I mean, baseball season is still months away, so
Yeah.
I'm not ready for the preview pod there yet.
Yeah, no. Okay, fine.
Basketball plays Tuesday. Get Ross Hodge on Monday. A lot of reviews coming out of the scrimmage from Andrew on the site, looking at some film. We'll talk about a player absence and how exactly that affects West Virginia. Top six for Mr. Sadler, Chris. Do you see that?
I did.
I prefer it to smaller group than that.
Yeah. I miss those days. You used to get the top 10, the top 12, the top 8 all the time. I
Mhm.
feel like that's toned down quite a bit after people made fun of it for so long, but
Hey, do you
6
got any
might be the extent.
you got any Kevin Brown intel for us?
No, I actually got a phone call, let's see, on Wednesday, from one of our national analysts. And we're going to see because I think he's supposed to go to Ohio State this weekend. But then now his dad, former West Virginia offensive lineman Tim Brown, reportedly is unable to make that. So now he may still go as an unofficial visitor without his dad, but then set up an official visit later. So that might actually be worse than if he had just gone to Ohio State for an official visit right after West Virginia, because now he's going to be locked in for 2 visits to Ohio State. We'll see if Rich Rod and crew can kind of talk him out of that. But he's just he's too big of a recruit, I'd say, to just shut it down and be done with it. I think there's going to be more to this than just. Well, we're recording this Wednesday, so maybe you guys are listening to this on Thursday morning and being like, oh, "Chris is an idiot, already committed." But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that they locked Tim Brown into a closet in the
Yeah,
Pushkar Center.
that's what I
He
was gonna
can't make
say.
that visit.
That was the first thing I said to our national analyst when he was like, "Yeah, apparently Tim Brown can't make it anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he got kidnapped. Like he's not leaving Morgantown. They're not letting him." So,
Don't say the number out loud, but you read the number on our board. What the talking point was about what the deal it was, the arrangement was at Penn State. You aware of that
mhm.
number?
Yes.
Can you put that in perspective for us? Because I think a lot of people see that and go, "No chance, this isn't happening." And I'm like, well, if you want $10 million, you're gonna spend it this way, and if you're not gonna win, you're not gonna get guys like this.
Well, I have thrown out a number before, and this number is different than the number that I've thrown out that I will report is 100% accurate. That offensive lineman is from the rev share portion of things. Again, we really have to make clear what's being separated here and where this pool of money is coming from. But starting offensive linemen at West Virginia are expected to get $200,000 to $250,000 in rev share money. So there's your starting point. Um, High school recruits are not typically going to be getting money unless they're elite, elite. And let me put it this way, on the message board, I stated on Tuesday, somebody was like, what's the big significance of this other than him being a legacy? I said, I think he is so good that he could literally walk onto the field next week and be in contention for a starting job. Like we talk about linemen being like, oh, they need a year or two. Like he already looks like a grown man as a senior in high school. So the fact that he could come in, I would say my piece is this: treat him more like you would pay a transfer than you would a high school recruit. Because I think he is somebody that could come in and contribute in year one, like a transfer would. So he is going to be somebody that is expecting to be paid as such, and I believe West Virginia to be ready to pay as such. Let's put it that. All my intel says West Virginia is ready to meet that number, which again,
Oh yeah,
that's not
yeah.
you and I like pumping sunshine for all you people, because as some of you guys have pointed out, we've been negative Nancy's about the money. We're not negative Nancy's. We're realists. We're telling you the truth about what's going on with the money. And I am telling you this is in God, it's going to sound terrible to say, this is an asset that West Virginia is willing to spend on, that they are willing to invest in. And so I believe that they will be ready to battle with whatever number that Penn State and Ohio State is prepared to pay as well, which I will not be saying very often. But
Oh
this is
yeah.
one of those situations that I believe to be the case.
So a couple points in that. The number that we have heard and shared, almost certainly 2 years.
Oh yeah, over the course of 2 years. Yeah,
hmm Because you don't want to do it again next year.
right.
So get him for two, right? That helps. Number one. Number two, I don't want to call him a transformative player. Like I agree with a lot of what you just said there. No reason to argue with you on that. That said, if you pull this off, you've gotten one of the top available linemen in the class who became available to everybody in the country during a season where you had to make a splash to improve the weakest part of your team. You pull in a legacy and you spend a lot of money on it. That turns a lot of, as I like to say, turns a lot of question marks into exclamation points. You feel a lot better about it. So it is worth the expense. And think of it too, if they're going to spend, let's say, $20 million in the roster next year, this number is not a big percentage of it.
Right.
It's a big number for sure, but it's not. You're not broke at that point. You can still address other needs, and also like you you're touching one of the positions you have to touch anyway, so you might as well spend on it. I think you could do that. Relative to the Penn State thing, and this is something that was passed on to me that I think is a good point. How much are they going to spend and be able to spend on recruits? They're paying a lot for the coach going out and the staff going out. They'll be paying a lot for a coach coming in and the staff coming in. They will try to retain players that are on their roster, and they may have to pay a premium for that. They will need transfers because of turnover. How much will they devote to the freshman class? They may have enough to, I mean, and they may circle Kevin Brown and say priority. I
Yeah.
get that. And the other one is you just don't comp Ohio State. You can't you could be in the same recruiting battle with them, but you have to understand that the dollars are always going to pale in comparison.
Yeah.
Most of the time, which may come in handy in another battle for another player, but we won't go there yet.
Are we not going there yet?
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, let's not.
Let's
I
wait
was
till that
just
actually happens because I think that's a long shot to happen. Never mind to actually go anywhere, but there's still an effort there.
okay. All right, fine.
Got my card laminated, Chris.
There we go. Hey, I'm just glad we got in our obligatory 5 to 10 minutes of donor and finance talk for recruits. We have to do it every podcast now. People have called for it. There we go.
Have you seen a lot of the? I have not set my watch to this, but we're probably gonna get the alarm soon. But have we asked the hard questions in the news conference yet? Because we got to the point where people were mad at us because the team stunk, right?
Oh yeah,
As you
don't you
pointed
remember
out.
the person on the board the other day that was mad because I hadn't posted the press conference updates from Rich Rodriguez within like it was like 30 minutes after the game ended, and you and I had already done a post game pod. You had done the moments of the game, and Andrew had already done the stock report, and this guy was mad that we hadn't put up a Rich Rodriguez story yet. It's like, dude, are we
Who,
at that point of the year where we're mad at us now?
who was the guy who was mad because the post game podcast for BYU came out after 2 in the morning? Well, the game ended at 1:30, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
That was tough. I haven't seen a lot of it, but like there were some things people asked me this about it, and I was wondering when is it going to happen. But should people have grilled Rodriguez about the onside kick after the game on Saturday? Kick it deep. I'm like, I don't know. I like your chances of recovering the onside kick, which they
Yeah.
almost recovered, or I'm just some play calls or whatever. But I mean, he kind of fell on the sword there too. But I was wondering if it got to that point about people now mad at reporters because again, like I don't know who it was, but let me cancel my 247 and give my money to Gold Blue Enterprises. That was the start. And I was wondering if we went all the way overboard here on redirecting the blame at us, which we'll
No,
do our part. We'll make you mad.
no, I'll make sure it's your fault eventually. If they
All
lose
right.
another game, I'll blame it on you.
All right. Well, maybe we told too many secrets here in this episode, gave you the viewer's guide, where to
Somebody's
look,
getting
what to
mad.
expect. Yeah, maybe we'll see. And that's about it for me. We'll have the regular preview stuff coming up. Fresh set by the numbers. We'll have Andrew's key matchups. Chris, you gonna do anything this week?
No, I'm just hanging out. My
Okay.
basketball preview is going up today, so keep an eye
Oh,
out for that. It's already in the queue, it's ready to go. Questions, some predictions. That'll be up later today. I got a couple more recruits that I caught up with from visits and new offers. That'll be going up. I do not have any more stat-filled quote. I'm quoting stat-filled takedowns of the offensive line. I do not have any more of those up my sleeve. I'm sorry. Um, so just
I can't wait to catch those bullets on Saturday. This will be great.
I already caught one, so don't worry about it.
Oh, good. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Mike Casaza.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
We will talk to you then.